Welcome back in, everybody. It's still the 21 off season. It's the Kansas City Chiefs, of course, and this is going to be a short video today because really today I want to try to get more of you guys' opinion. You know, one of the cool things about having my own channel is I can do anything I want to do with it, basically. And usually I spend a whole bunch of time jabbering, talking about all kinds of things, money related, talent related, and otherwise. But today I really want to get you guys' feel for the upcoming draft because in the NFL draft, I've said this a million times, you can go so many different directions. You can draft for next season. You can draft for 3 years from now. You can draft for a position group. You can draft for money reasons. You can draft for age reasons. You can draft just based on it's the highest guy on your board at the time your pick comes up. You can draft need only. There's a million different ways to draft, and sometimes, and usually most of the time, your draft plan really doesn't ever quite work out. But what I'm really after for today is just kind of a wish list. Basically, your top 3 wish list, if you will, of what positions you want to draft. And I promise I'm not going to take you guys' stuff and criticize it and rip it apart and make fun of it or anything like that. I really just would like to get you guys' feel for it because while I don't have a lot of subscribers, one thing I have found out about this channel, just listening to a lot of you guys' comments, I don't have too many hot-headed emotional people. I have a lot of people who really tend to think through things and tend to analyze things a good bit more. And because of that, you know, I value some of those opinions a bit more than maybe emotion-based opinions, at least when it comes to evaluating a football team. So I really would like to hear what you guys have to say about the draft, and you can include as many position picks as you want. But what I really would like is your top 3. Okay, and the reason for that is it kind of forces us to prioritize and really narrow down if we could only get 3 things out of this draft, because we know not every draft pick is going to work out. That just never happens for any team anywhere. But if we could just get 3 things out of this year's draft, 3 specific positions, what would those positions be? And if you have the time, go ahead and in your comments include why you would take those 3 positions, okay? And I'll go over those. If I only get 6 or 10 of you commenting, then I'll sit down and I'll go through your reasons, and I'll read some of the reasons that you provided for that. If I get 30 or 40 people commenting, then I'll just kind of put them all together and kind of turn it into a poll, more or less. Okay, so we'll see how many people actually comment on that. I've got some of the positions kind of listed up here. You don't have to go by these, but these are specific for a reason. So I've got quarterback, which of course, you know, we know we're not going to replace Mahomes, but some people might be inclined in some places to have a backup quarterback who's young and is getting trained up in the Andy Reid way, just in case Mahomes goes down with an injury. You've got somebody behind him who's young and energetic and inexpensive and knows how to do things the Chiefs way, if you will. So that's a backup quarterback. Running back and tight end, self-explanatory. At the wide receiver spots, I've got your prototypical wide receiver 1, and then I've got wide receiver big. That's kind of like the Michael Irvin, Alshon Jeffrey kind of wide receivers. You know they're not as fast, but they're still big and they're tough to defend. And then wide receiver slot position, of course. And then right here on the offensive line, tackle, guard, and center. I know in the NFL, it's really kind of weird when you look at it. A lot of guys did not play center in college. They're just guards that have been pushed over into the center position, but sometimes you can find the guy who did play center in college. It's almost like he was born to it. So if you've got somebody like that in mind, I don't necessarily need names here. I just want the position, the specific position. And then special teams, sometimes there are guys that come out of college that really can't find a position in the NFL, but they are special teams demons. They can kick return, punt return, I mean, you name it. They are all over the place, and then you might even toss in a handful of trick plays for them in the offense that season. So somebody like that, kicker, punter, if you feel like the need there. Defensive tackle, defensive end. Defensive end really is where I would put the edge guys, the fast twitch edge guys. So if you're looking at collecting an edge rusher in this year's draft, to me, that's really in the defensive end position. We're not seeing too many guys who can do that out of the linebacking spot anymore. There used to be, man, you go back 15, 20 years, if you couldn't rush the quarterback as a linebacker, they almost wouldn't let you on the field. And that really has changed a lot these days. So we'll get to linebacker in a second, but if you're looking for a guy who's kind of an edge rusher, I've got that included basically in the defensive end position. I've got CB1 and then CB slot here, free safety and strong safety. Really, truthfully, the line is also blurring between free safety and strong safety. It almost doesn't matter where you line up on the field when it comes from linebacker back. They are expecting you to cover somebody at some point in time, probably lots of times every game. So some of those defensive positions, especially in the secondary, have really started to blend together and really started to change. So, but anyway, I've still got free safety and strong safety listed. And then the linebacker spot, most linebackers these days do not have what I call 3D ability. You could call it 3 down, I call it 3-dimensional. It's that ability to rush the quarterback, drop into pass coverage effectively, and be able to stop the run. There are very, very few linebackers that have that ability anymore. There's a couple, but not many. Most of them only have 2 traits. So if a linebacker is what you're after, I would be fascinated to know what you're looking for in the linebacker spot, whether it is strictly somebody, and again, there aren't many linebackers who can do this anymore, who can get after the quarterback, or if you just want more of the traditional modern day linebackers who are good in pass coverage and can help support against the run, something like that. Let me know what you're looking at linebacker. Top three positions that you're really after this year, basically your wish list. I'm not going to tell you mine today. I'll probably do that before the draft comes out here in a couple of weeks. Probably here in a week to a week and a half. My goal is, after you guys have had your turn to comment, I'll sit back down and I'll read them out here on a video. We'll talk about what you guys as a Kansas City fan base are feeling. I'll try to be fair. I'm not going to, I've always said one reason I've never, ever called talk radio shows is because they really don't give you a chance to talk. They kind of let you get out 1 sentence or 2 sentences, and then somebody who's very arrogant and obnoxious comes with lambasting back in, and they just totally interrupt you, and they shout over you, and they talk over you, and they rip you apart, and you never even get a chance to have a valid opinion. So I would really like to have you guys put out a valid opinion here on this video and take a look at what you're looking at for this year's draft. The other thing I would like to have too, if you guys have time to do this, just do what you feel like. I would like to know maybe your 1 or 2 players that you would just absolutely love for Kansas City to get. And let's leave out, you never really know who's going to be available at what pick, but let's leave out the top 20 guys, because Kansas City is probably not going to have any chance at those top 20 draft picks, right? I mean, you never know who's going to slide down the board. But in general, let's leave out the top 20 guys that every team would love to have. And once you cycle out of the top 20, maybe it's somebody in the 4th round, or maybe somebody there late in the 1st round, whichever round, I don't care. Just more of somebody that not every team in the NFL would want, but somebody that late in that 1st round, or even a later round, that you're like, man, I really like this guy. I think he would fit in with our team. So if you toss that in as a specific name, I would be interested in that as well. Okay, I think that's it for today. Thank you so much. We'll see you next time, maybe next week, week and a half from now. We'll talk about this again. See you later. Bye.